All right. Guess I should update Mox Field while I'm thinking about it. Johnson, what's up? "40 seconds to kick off." A road trip to Ohio at the moment. I'll be here for at least 5 hours. What's going on in Ohio? Hopefully we're still in the event in 5 hours. Time to win some games of Magic the Gathering or go down swinging. One of the two. I don't want to put a bunch of pressure on me first thing Friday morning. Round 1 is up. Keeping a no land 7. Reasonable 6. What am I throwing back? I usually like throwing back Force and Negation in these sorts of situations. If I were on the draw, I would probably keep Force. But on the play, I'll have Counterspell up on turn 2. Plus, I don't really want to mulligan and then mulligan again by pitching to Force. Going to visit a friend and destroy their local RCQ? Heck yeah. Prowess. Okay. Prowess, 1 top, 1 bottom. Did anyone keep data on win rates of play versus draw in Modern? I know that I don't. I usually just keep match win rates. But I would imagine the disparity is fairly significant. Let them hit me with this Swift Spear. I don't really want to fire off a Bowmaster into the open mana and just have like Bowmaster get bolted or something. Am I scared of Loki yet? Not yet. We'll see if that changes in the near future. There's an analytics tool for commander decks, but not modern decks, and I'm upset about it. What do you mean by an analytics tool? Like, what are they analyzing? Gameplay, draw versus play, mana curve, card choice analysis. I'm surprised there's a tool like that. Are there really enough repetitive matchups for something like that to be applicable? Like, isn't part of the purpose of Commander you're just gonna like sit down in a room with, or in a pod with 3 people that you've never played against before? Frog is pretty decent. It's exactly what I said. The variants have to be wild, and it's more likely geared towards CEDH because most Commander players have 19 Commander decks. Right. Like, doesn't seem to do much good if you constantly play in a room full of different decks. I really need my opponent to go for like a Corey Steel Cutter. I really don't want their hand to just be a bunch of like darts and bolts. To the devil. Go ahead and get this big clunky counter spell out of hand. What's your take on Bowmasters right now, just in general? I think Bowmasters is like a really strong, just value creature to have in your deck. I don't think it's killing a ton right now, which is a little unfortunate, but it's still like a very, very solid tool to have access to, and it's not really replaceable. It's also the best Kaito enabler by a mile. So, like, if you're really high on Kaito, it's good to have Bowmasters. But if you don't think that that Kaito's very good, then you're probably a lot lower on Bowmasters. Charles, what's up? What am I doing here? Opponent does not have a mutagenic growth, or doesn't have an instant in the yards. They could have a mutagenic growth. Hmm. Tough spot. Like, I can attack in with the frog. I guess I could fly the frog and attack in. That way, if they have a mutagenic growth, they have to cast it before blocks. And maybe I can... Oh, it'd still be like discard. Warping Riddler. This pause on their end makes me think they do have a mutagenic growth. Like, they're not F6'd. Good draws. Charles, thank you so much for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. And I'm not going to discard the frog here because, like, I'm pretty happy with the stuff I have in hand. Been having loads of fun with Corey Baumeister's Grixis Shadow list. How are you feeling about the challenge today? Feeling fine-ish. The last few challenges we've been kind of playing with like off-meta variants and like non-traditional builds. So I'm kind of excited to play another challenge with like my actual list. Always feels a little bit better. Storm Chaser's talent. MRC, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. I'm kind of interested in jumping. Bowmaster's just like so fragile into like a lava dart. It's really difficult to put all of your eggs into the Bowmaster basket. L to Seagray. Start a bunch of lands or exile a bunch of lands. You got get to bluff like a hard cast Force and Negation here. Sure, if opponents, oh, they're doing something on their upkeep. Bolt me. Okay. Keep a card on top. kind of feel like I should just go ahead and fatal push this. I think I'm going to. Porky, what's up? Much appreciated. Glad that I'm not taking this 3. Very glad I'm not taking this 3. All right, so we got no lava darts in the yard. We have a lava dart in the yard. They are going to go ahead and flash back. They're just like looking for a lightning bolt. But bobble into their graveyard. I am going to discard some Thought Seizes. I can present 9. I can't present lethal. But I would like to jump in with this frog. See what we can find. Polluted Delta. Okay, so if I play Quantum Riddler, I'm dead to a lightning bolt. Lightning bolt or lava dart. But I'm dead to a lava dart anyway. And it would have to be their 4th copy of lightning bolt. So you got it, you got it. That is not a lightning bolt, nor is it a lava dart. Like to fatal push this one, jump this one. Cool. Game 2 against Prowess. What do I want? What do I not want? Mystical Dispute. Especially since they showed me Storm Chaser's talent, so Pest Control looks even better. Fade that shit. Don't care about Consign, don't care about Harbinger, don't care about Surgical or Stony. Things I do not like as much. Kaito, Fairy. Or like auto cuts. Bowmaster's kind of mid. Usually just ends up being like an expensive chump blocker. Thoughtseize not great, but okay. It's between a Thoughtseize and a 3rd Bowmasters. They showed me Boomerang basics. So I kind of want Bowmaster, 3rd Bowmaster a little bit more than 3rd Thoughtseize. Because I can hold up chump blockers to play on sorcery speed interaction a little bit better. And if they go for their own stuff, I've got an answer to it. All right. Biggest fear is Corey Steelcutter. I think I just have to take 5 to Thoughtseize. My only way of actually answering one. Second threat. Go ahead. Got to take a few points of damage here. 2 to the bottom off the preordain. Kept a card on top with the Thundering Falls. Swamp that they know about. Go ahead. Now, we knew they had the Thundering Falls from the Thoughtseize, so we weren't going to catch them without a land drop. Show me an expressive iteration. Something that I can regain some tempo with, like, Mystical Dispute and Iteration. Something I can regain some tempo by disputing an iteration plus Fatal Push. Any BNR requests for next week, or is the format good enough to let ride until August? I mean, I've got BNR requests, but I don't think they're requests that are like, these cards need to be out of the format. They're more just like, I don't think these cards are good for long-term Modern health, and they're probably going to have to get banned eventually, but I don't think they're like ruining the format at the moment. Stuff like Urza Saga. I don't think it's a tier 0, have to play it or have to plan for it card right now, but I think eventually it will be. It's just like an inevitability thing. Oh, what is this? Experimental Synthesizer. 1 red. When this artifact enters or leaves the battlefield, exile the top card of your library. Till end of turn, you may play that card. 2 and a red, sacrifice it, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance. Activate only as a sorcery. So it's like 4 mana, draw 2. I really don't want to counter this, but it's either like counter this or risk having to counter what's on the top. Plus, this is going to get a body if they go to sack it and potentially another card. And if they have a Boomerang Basics, that really sucks for me. Not that this is great for me. Any unbanned requests? I mean, obviously, I'm in the camp of like, I would like Ponder and Deathrite Shaman. I don't know if either of those like really solve a problem right now. That second bolt. Ugh. All right, we lost this one. I maybe should have just discarded the subtlety to make them go ahead and flash back the dart so they might be able to, or not be able to make a token next turn. But kind of a mid plan. Bowmasters really has not looked very good against them. Any chance there's a ban next Monday? I mean, there's always a chance if there's an announcement, right? I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I'm just like, this has got to go. Maybe they banned something else from energy just because it's been the top of the meta for God knows how long. Opal should be banned. Opal never should have been unbanned. That one was still wild. It's definitely less top than it has been, but just the fact that it received its third ban, Amped Raptor, the One Ring, Blage, received its third ban, and it's still the top most played deck in the format. That's kind of funny. Yeah, well, I agree that something's going to be on top. It's just the fact that it's been the same on top deck this whole time that's kind of funny about it. Mm. I really don't want to. Really don't want to drown in the lock or waste drown in the lock on this, but I think I'm gonna have to. Take two. Get a surveil here and try to get another piece of interaction. Nice. Take me back to 2021, y'all. We're on banned Saga talk. Well, Saga, I think, is a very problem-inducing Magic card. I don't think it's unfair to not have it in the discussion. You think it's a fair card? You think your Saga opponent getting to make like 18 power worth of bodies, haste one of them up, or get up a lock piece off of a land drop is fair? Annoying one. Really just been needing to see a pest control. Like, I think if I could, or if I had a pest control in hand and knew that I could just let that Storm Chasers resolve, hit it and the synthesizer, I'd be kind of okay. But not being able to do that's a little rough. Hard. Ooh, that's really good for me. They're going to give me a target for this subtlety. Love to see that. They put the channeler on top. I think if they had a mystical dispute, they would have gone after the subtlety there. Air. All right, don't kill me. Crap. Double crap. I asked nicely. Okay. Bobble me. Am I willing to give up Counterspell and Spell Snare? Eat this monk token. Wonder what they saw on top that's making them tank. Or are they giving the +3/+3 to the Vigilance token? I'm so confused. Just me, or did that, like, not matter at all? All right, so I've got to assume that one of their cards at least is, like, dead. But I need to find, like, another piece of interaction, because I'm just getting into a play pattern where they're going to find some spells to cast. And them just finding spells is bad for me. What do we got? Boomerang basics, target your own Quarry Steel Cutter. Okay. Seems like it's good for me. Definitely countering this on the way back down. Symbol, good to see you as well. Why not Snare? Because this this Mystical Dispute is getting just completely dead at this point. Like, it's not doing anything for me. But Snare can still hit, like, another Quarry Steel Cutter or Expressive Iteration or something on the top that Mystical Dispute would miss. So I might as well cash in on it while I can. Let's think. So if I block the Samurai token, if they have a burn spell, my frog's dead to whatever. They have a bolt. If they have a bolt and I block the 2/2, I'm dead. But if they have a bolt and I block the 3/3, then I'm taking 6. The 3/3 is growing to a 4/4 and killing my frog anyway. Mutagenic growth would kill my frog. Is there anything I'm actually playing around by blocking the 2/2 instead of the 3/3? I think I just have to block the 3/3. They don't play any instant speed cantrips or anything. Yeah, like if they have a lava dart, I'm dead anyway. So tell me what you got. Yeah. So if I block the 2/2, I was just dead here. Tasigur does not do anything. GG's. Ugh. Yeah, pest control would have been nice. 3 of them in the deck.
Get down a frog next turn while you replayed the DRC, and then kill it off. Then you shuffled it away, and all of a sudden that entire line just like went to shit. See, just get rid of MH2 or Modern Horizons in general. I'd be fine if they got rid of MH2. Yeah, GG's for sure. Good luck to you as well. Appreciate you stopping by and saying hey. Fucking love and miss Tasigur. Glad you're playing it, but I miss Gurmag even more. Dude, I got my signed set of Gurmag Anglers just sitting in my binder, sadly. So depressing. Ponza. Papa Ponza. Papa Ponza. Papa Ponza. Papa Ponza. Papa Ponza. It's like just cursed to draw basics against the Ponza deck. What's my play here? I kind of want to just warp Riddler. So I can try to warp Riddler. They cast something on their turn. I can consider maybe force negationing it to get down Tasigur the turn after and try to curve Tasigur into Kaito. My eyes roll when I see this BS on the other side. Well, I stopped seeing it for a minute. Hadn't been that popular. I know ZKG would say otherwise. Apparently he's running into this deck like 2 or 3 times every league, but I don't feel like I see it that often. Nothing to play, eh?
Be able to ruin me again. It definitely sucks to be out of basics already, because I had to draw this stupid island. But I think Bowmasters here is probably a little bit better than Tassiger. Khan, the great creator. Khan, the great going to your graveyard. All right. Let's get down Kaito. Sure. I guess we could have picked up the Bowmasters, but I wanted it in play in case they found one of the 100 billion, like, destroy a land, draw a card spells. Last, they did not find one of the 100 billion destroy land, draw a card spells. Look, it's a destroy land, draw a card spell. Leave my Kaito alone. Avengers disassembled. All right, let me read this. Really have fancy arts of this card already. 3 damage to each creature, destroy target land, search, blah, blah, blah. No, don't want to use the ability. Show me a black source. I'm never activating this Tassiger, so doesn't really matter too much to exile specific stuff. Will there be a point when modern decks are forced to play plenty of basics? You mean like you'd have to play more than the bare minimum to play under Blood Moon or whatever? Maybe if they printed like back to basics into the format, back to basics or like price of progress or something, then maybe there would be an argument, but till those happen, it's a tough sell. Like Upkeep Solitude. Could take up Kaito, but
My clock doesn't change. We need another subtlety. All right. They find another road, I'm going to be sad. This is just another upkeep solitude, however. Nice. So we bring in Harbingers, and that's like it. I don't really care about anything else. Oh. I guess bad Mana League's probably just better than Fatal Push. Or no, they showed me Karn. Want to consider Consign if they showed me Karn. But I guess bad Mana League also it's Karn. So Consign hits Solitude and Karn. Mana League hits non-evoked Solitude, Karn, whatever else, but costs 3 mana. Now we'll just roll with Consign. Mono blue beatdown. Where's your Vidalcan shackles? Oh man. I think I've owned 1 Vidalcan shackles in my entire life. And it was in mono blue Vendilion Click Tiny Leaders. That's a format I want to see a revival of. Tiny Leaders was so much fun. Tiny Leaders on Moto. I don't think it ever was. Do you think they play Mana Tithe, or do you think this is just chalk in Sacred Foundry to hold up like Path for a Tameo or something? Also, I don't condone this in any stretch of the imagination, but how hilarious would it be if you were playing mono or red-white land destruction and your opponent kept a hand like this, like what we kept, and they just look at their hand and they go, all right, I mulled to 6, put 1 back. And you're like, oh, you didn't mulligan. And they're just like trying to put this basic swamp back into their library. Like, oh no, I totally mulliganed. I said I mulliganed. Like, you must not have been paying attention. I said that I mulligan. Galvanic discharge. That means no demolition field here. You want to go after this army token? All right. Frog is down. Board is somewhat clear at the moment. Opponent's hand, not great. Opponent's hand, perfect. All right, well, they blow up another land, and we do get to hard cast a Quantum Riddler, so that's kind of fun. This and get Hallowed Fountain. Guess it's fine to just play the swamp. Okay. You like to do it again. Yep. Tassiger. Pretty good card. Let's go land, Psychic Frog, El Tessigre. Go. And we do have, like I said, a Hollowed Fountain off of this. So I've got Consigned to Memory up in case they find like a Solitude. No response. Two cards in hand. I have to exile my Quantum Riddler. Sure. Something else, or is this just Kihira? All right, so this would kill my frog.
I don't want them to kill my frog. Kaito does nothing here. All right, I'm going to hit you for 7. I think it's worth not discarding this spell snare. Not discarding the spell snare in case they top deck like a wildfire. I can just spell snare that and the game's over. Nice Rathus, guys. What's it beat? Not Tassiger, that's right. They're casting this for 2 mana, right? So I can just... comment, or see the comment late. And is groovy. See what you got. I'll let Faithless Looting go, mainly because if they have like a frog or something on turn 2, they're going to get to do the same thing anyway. And this just kind of puts them down a card to do it. Like, I have a turn 2 persist covered already. I have a turn 2 persist covered. I would love to see like a spell snare or a thought seize right here. Spell snare, thought seize, Tassiger. 3 best draws. Yeah, that's as if I didn't ask for any of those. Unearth, target Emperor of Bones. All right, so let's think of this objectively. Opponent gets back Emperor. They go to combat, exile the Archon. Pay 2 to put the Archon into play. I respond with Bowmaster, shoot them, Archon triggers. I sack the token. They go up to 15. I go down to 14. They go up to 5 cards in hand. I discard Watery Grave. Archon attacks.
make a new token, sacrifice new token, or I sacrifice the token and then would make a new one afterwards. I go down to 11. Archon deals damage. I go down to 5. They have a 6th card in hand. Yeah. Have to counterspell. Hope you don't have another persist. That's fine. Would have loved you last turn, but get what you get. So by jumping my frog, I make it so that if they want to block, they have to jump their frog. That takes cards out of their yard so they can't hard cast Oculus as easily without like additional discards. Where they can just give me the free attack. Choose to give me the damage. You're working with. Archon. Emperor. And was pretty stacked. How do I want to do this? Play new frog, pass. They can get their frog up to a 4/5. I can get my frog up to a 4/5. What you want to do? I just miss a card completely. Why did I think they had 0 cards and they were drawing up to 1? Oh, because they didn't play the Raucous Theater. I'm an idiot. Sure. Image. Need fewer frogs. Fewer frogs, more thought seizes and counter spells, and definitely fewer bowmasters. frog, sure. Push my frog, you got it. All right, so the rest of their hand appears to be not great. I'm going to go for the damage here. Put them down to 3. Play new frog. There you go. Yeah, if I end up losing this game, it's because for whatever reason I was like, well, they have to play out the Raucous Theater. They can't just hold it in hand. And I have no idea why that thought was ingrained in my head there. Thankfully, it didn't come back to punish us, but yeah, I have zero explanation for why that was just like stuck in my head. So Drown in the Loch, pretty bad. T3feris, not great. Kaito on the draw. Force on the draw. But yeah, in my head, I was just like, oh, they have a Raucous Theater as their last card. They go to their turn. They play the Raucous Theater. They have 1 card in hand. If they discard that one, the frog grows up to a 4/5, and I can discard my hand to have a 4/5 frog as well. So we get to like bounce off each other, and I get to untap with a frog. Subtlety is not really good against this match. It's good. It stops turn 2 frog on the draw. It delays Emperor of Bones. If they go to hardcast an Oculus, it's fantastic against a hardcast Oculus. I don't want to throw back the frog. Better do that one. Unearth into the bin. No play on 2. No play on 2. What does that mean for me? Try to go like frog pierce, frog dispute on 3. Or did they just keep a really reactive hand? Okay, so I'm not fetching here because opponent has the possibility of hard casting an Oculus next turn, and I need the fatal push with Revolt to kill the Oculus. That's their plan. I'll keep Bowmasters on top, but I'm not afraid to shuffle that away if I need black mana. That's 6th card in the yard. I thought that was going to be an Oculus. Sees me, sure. If they take my fatal push, if their hand is like land or Thoughtseize, land, Oculus, that's rough. I'm definitely shuffling away this Bowmaster if they take my fatal push. Pass. We can Otawara, but I really want my answer to Oculus to be on their turn so that they don't get a manifest token. And at that moment, if they had resolved Fatal Push, or if they had taken Fatal Push and like resolved Bowmaster or resolved Oculus, I give them a free manifest opportunity. Really don't want to do. They've got to just be sitting on an Oculus. Cards out of hand. I just feel like I 100% lose if I go for Frog. They end of turn Fatal Push, untap Oculus, and I have to wait until my next turn to Otawara the Oculus. I've got like Bowmasters, Thought Seizes, Subtleties, all that sort of stuff that I can draw into. Now I can play out Frog. Yep. At this point, they should just hard cast the Oculus and let me Otawara it. It's like, you're going to be able to recast it basically ASAP anyway. One more card in the yard. They can end a turn, adapt the Emperor. Guess they could have just like discard Archon, go for persist. I could return the frog. Hmm. Probably pretty reasonable that they just have... What's the wording on a finality counter? Only if it dies, it goes back. Push the frog. This could also be really, really bad for me if they've picked up, if they have Oculus, like I think they do, and they just picked up a Spell Pierce or a Mystical Dispute. Or do they just have Persist? Yeah. Bad call. Unless they just have nothing. I guess they do just have nothing. Unfortunately, I also just have nothing. Get you off the board before you kill me. How about a Kaito off the top? Not bad. What I say is my best draw at this point? Kaito. Something that dodges Fatal Push, acts as card advantage. All right, so I flash in the subtlety, stack the token, hope to find like a Kaito off the top to stun the Archon. We just took way too long to do anything. I think I'm going to bring the T3feris and the other Kaito back in on the play. What am I boarding out? Board out a force. Board out a subtlety. Board out the other force. Pyroclasm? Really? That's technically a card you can register, but I think it's one you really want to register. All right, well, if we can find land drops, their hand is not very good at dealing with anything I find. Much as I love Counterspell. No, we found our Pyroclasm target. And does not want to persist back a frog. It was a land we don't know about. We find a land. Nice. They have the ability to hard cast an Oculus now if they want it. Looks like they're going to go for. So I think instead of going for the Bowmaster here, I'm just going to go for another Surveil. That is technically a 4th land. You change your Esper Frog list? I mean, I change it constantly. Definitely not a set in stone thing. Pretty good. I guess I'm interested in spell snaring a Pyroclasm, since I now have an answer to like a Persist or an Unearth. Probably worth just keeping the pressure up. Oculus out of the yard, Oculus out of hand, Oculus out of the decks. Your hand is 2 copies of Fatal Push. Thoughtseize. Here's a subtlety. You may resolve a Thoughtseize. Like to push my Bowmaster. All right. Back for 4. Go. Unearth an Emperor of Bones. That can get Orcish Bowmaster on my side. All right, I want to let them get this Bowmaster. And I Otawara the Bowmaster. But they're probably not going to put it into play right now. Is there any line here that lets me end up with a threat? Like, I could Otawara my subtlety right now while they don't have Revolt. Like, if they exile this Bowmaster and they immediately play it, that's really good for me. Because then I can Otawara the Bowmaster, get it back. They'll Fatal Push my Subtlety, but then I have Bowmaster shoot their Orc Army token, Fatal Push their Emperor of Bones, get in for 2, and have Bowmaster and 2 or a 2/2 token on board. If they wait, however, then if I go to Otawara my Subtlety, they can respond. I don't like this. If I wait, they can hold up the Emperor of Bones. And if I go to like Otawara my Subtlety, they can respond with activate Emperor Bones, put in Bowmaster. Bowmaster can shoot itself. That gives them Revolt to kill the Subtlety. I just feel like every way that involves me losing this game involves me going through a turn cycle or like not having access to Bowmaster or Subtlety. I feel like if I have one of the two, I'm kind of golden. But I mean, there are 2 now, so that changes up a bit. I care a lot less if they Fatal Push the Subtlety. They also just might not see the line of activate Emperor, Bowmaster, ping itself. Right, so here I Otawara the Bowmaster. Can Fatal Push my Subtlety. Fatal Push or Emperor. Pass. This is fine. Can I just Bowmaster their Emperor of Bones? Like if they adapt it in response, that's kind of whatever. Or is it better to just Bowmaster them? Guess it's better to Bowmaster them. That way, like another Bowmaster off the top is lethal. Another Bowmaster's lethal. Another removal spell is lethal. We're you're willing to Bowmaster directly, why didn't you wait till the end of the turn? Because the end of turn, they could activate Emperor, get the subtlety my Bowmaster. I didn't want them to do that. Now we Fatal Push their Bowmaster, Warp Riddler. Not much of a point to attack in and just I've got no creatures in the yard. They're only creatures and Emperor, so if they do find another Unearth or Persist, Emperor's not doing anything. I guess they should just target their own Emperor to have an extra body. Emperor of Bones is such an annoying magic card. Like, I really feel that it never actively wins games when I play it. When I play against it, it does. I could bounce Bowmaster. Like, I guess if I hit a land, game's just over. But at the same time, like, yeah, it gives them outs I don't really want to give them. If I bounce the Emperor, they have to adapt. I could just take up Teferi and pass. Let's do that. Take up Teferi, pass. I'm not dead to draw spells. I can block with my army token. Kind of protect the Teferi. If they don't take Teferi out this turn, then I get to bounce my Bowmaster for lethal next turn. Yep. Can't pass the turn here. Like, you have to at least attack at the Teferi.
Yeah.
Through a minute
All right,
late,
we
my
had some
good
opponents
stuff
won
coming
out
off.
here. And seems reasonable. A little bit slow on the draw, but we do have some interaction. So Corden Tex coming in with a 5-month resub. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the subscribers. Greatly appreciate it. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon, morning, or evening. Tide of Souls. Muted, or is my audio? It's showing that my audio is coming through. Is it not? Audio seems fine to you. Well, Johnson, I don't know what to tell you because you couldn't hear me if I did know what to tell you. But sounds like it is not me. I'm going to put a 2-drop on the stack that I might be able to spell snare. And it is, in fact, putting a 2-drop on the stack that I have the ability to spell snare. I'll pass with counterspell up so don't get blood mooned. Ouch. Charge to the bin. I'll interact with pretty much any 2-for-1. If they play like another Guide of Souls, I probably won't, but if I had an untapped land, I might let that go. The frog. Let's do it. Show me a Blood Moon. Blood Moon 1-time dealer. Blood Moon. I guess it could be a Blood Moon still. Is their hand just like nothing?
If they had a land, they 100%, or no, they had land. If they had a Legend of Roku, they're 100% playing it there, right? Hmm. I think I'm just going to go Frog hit, see if I draw 4th untapped land for subtlety. It's pretty good. Rather have another land. Maybe they have something like Spyro and Thraben Charm. Possibly, but why wouldn't you cast the Spyro there? Seems like it would be a pretty free, oh, my opponent's tapped out Spyro. Because worst case scenario is I subtlety and you get 2 cards out of my hand. Who knows? I also, I'm going to screenshot this turn because I have some thoughts about it, about that turn right there that I think are kind of important. And I don't want to waste a bunch of time in sideboarding going over them, but I think it would be good to revisit. A bunch of stuff I don't want in this build. I have some of those Boros opponents. Like, technically, we did answer a Goblin Bombardment and a Voice of Victory. There was some stuff going on. Not a lot of stuff, but some. Better. But it very well could have been like Thraben Charm, Discharge or something that couldn't actually kill the frog. And they just didn't value like making me discard. Which I don't necessarily agree with, but we're thinking out possibilities. All right, no Ragavan. I think I've just got to get a Surveil land here. Okay, how do I want to do this? I could take the 2-for-1 with pest control. I could Thought Seize. I probably want to Thought Seize. I might end up like taking some extra damage off these guides. But I really want to make sure there's not a follow-up. A follow-up like a Blood Moon. Guess whose sequence paid off? Give you a clue. It was mine. They just gonna fire off this no value discharge. All right, now. Third land is great. I'll even take fourth land. So, wipe you away. Go ahead. Land on their side. Okay. So opponent has the static prison that I know about. I could play Kaito and just tick up. Make them static prison. That's probably worth it, honestly. They static prison this, or they could like static prison, pass next turn, don't pay for it, and discharge. That would be kind of fine. But they don't have any way to manipulate the next draw, and this gives me a chance to just like untap Bowmaster, Warp Riddler, or something. I get really punished if this is like, I guess not really punished if it's a Spyro, because they would have bumped, or they would have discharged my Bowmaster anyway. Land. Spell. Flashback. Like no benefit to tapping off of counter spell just to draw 2 sorcery speed. I want to counterspell this. You know what? We're going to. Because this like makes my Quantum Riddler a draw 2 for sure. Makes it so that the static prison doesn't get to stay around longer than it has to. And I think I'm just going to sit on Subtlety this turn. They do nothing. I might just flash this in.
Ocelot, Pride. Put it at the bottom. That's like, that's one of those turns. Well, I'll save till after we see what our opponent does. Sure. When you have a subtlety and you're like hard cast a subtlety and your opponent puts the card on the bottom, that's one of the turns that like makes you want to register for this card every time. When you're not doing anything else and it's just functionally counterspell with counterspell with a 3/3 flying body attached onto it. It's kind of insane. All right. So I get back Kaito next turn. Hopefully. Goblin Bombardment's pretty good with a Voice of Victory online. I'm gonna send it in. Do I have any interest in triple blocking this Voice of Victory? Like, I can block a token for free with the frog. But if I triple block the Voice of Victory, how does this look? If they've got nothing, and I triple block Voice, they have to make the first action. Yeah, I do. If I had to make the first action, I don't think I would make this block. But because they do, it's decent, like, agency. The downside of this is if they shoot my frog twice, I probably have to give up the counterspell and the Otawara, and that's my 5th land for hardcast Riddler. So I would like to get out of this in a manner that doesn't involve me discarding the Otawara if I don't have to. Like, I will give up the frog to get the Voice off of the board and not discard the Otawara. Fine to give up counterspell because I'm not using it with Voice anyway. And if they have like a discharge in response to this, I'm happy with that because again, I can just play the Riddler. This would kind of bite if they have a removal in response, but yep. They have no energy, and I get back Kaito. Sit back with the subtlety this turn. Ragavan? No. It's like Ranger Captain into Ragavan. Get out of here. Oh man, this game's gone from like bad to horrendous so quick. We were in such a good spot 2 turns ago. Everything at me. So if I block voice 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I just die. I have to block here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boros still has those swingy turns. They do, but like this game, it had to be a few draws there, right? Like they had to have the removal spell for the frog, the arena here, which I guess they had the arena on like turn 2 or whatever. I had to hit the voice because that made my counter spell dead and like paired well with the bombardment. And they didn't have either of those when we thought seized them. This has to be Fatal Push. Fatal Push or a removal spell. I guess. No, it can be a land. Yeah, so I can Fatal Push the Voice of Victory, stun the Ragavan, hold up Counterspell. On the Ragavan. Back in with Kaito. But if it were a land, I could stun the Ragavan or stun the Voice of Victory and play Quantum Riddler. That would have gotten there. It played Encampment, so I am not tapping off of this counter spell. I'm not playing Quantum Riddler. All I got to do is attack twice with Kaito. Does getting Kaito up to 3 do anything? I don't think so. Ragavan stunned anyway.
I'm taking the Bowmaster just because it's technically a win condition as well. Like, I can play Bowmaster, shoot them, and then they have to sack the Ragavan to kill the Bowmaster. Where Shieldred's Edict, I'm just like not letting whatever they play resolve. To destroy a non-basic land, and that land's controller creates a tapped treasure token. So, like, the person who casts the wasteland doesn't get to search for anything. But the player who has their land blown up gets a treasure token to replace the mana temporarily, one use. But it comes into play tapped so that you can have like tempo wasteland plays. Wasteland is not an answer to problematic lands. It is a problematic land. It's both. Wasteland's fine in like fair matchups, but Wasteland, if it's being abused with something like Wrenn and 6, is problematic. And Wasteland is like the best answer you have access to opposing Gaia's Cradles and opposing what's it called? Ancient Tombs or whatever, stuff like that. Well, I don't want Wasteland in Modern. I want a functional Wasteland replacement in Modern. I don't know what that would look like, but something to help interact with lands. Preferably that's not abusable. Arid Mesa, go. I'm just going to pass with Bowmaster and Counterspell up. I don't know if this is Boros, like Boros Energy or Storm. Blue, white, or still don't know. Storm, okay. Sure. I'm going to let you have that so I can try to get a clock down with Bowmaster. All right, we do very much need to get this game over with. We're going to take a Ral. I know that I have Fatal Push, and I could potentially Fatal Push the Ral, but I would rather just like answer it for sure, not give my opponent an opportunity to like Ral into some spells and flip it. I would have a difficult time interacting with that. Also, ironically, Orcish Bowmaster, really, really good into Hex magic. We'll see how the Hex Magic does. Like, if they want to play some rituals into it, it's not the scariest thing in the world. It'd be a big liability if they just cast it and set a bunch of cards aside. I think you got to put like exclamation card Hex Magic. Yeah, like they can exile a bunch of stuff to Hex Magic, but they draw like 4 cards. And if they do that with the Bowmaster triggers, they could just be putting themselves dead. And if they ritual into Hex Magic, that's less cards that you get to see off of it because you're not exiling as many to the Hex Magic. I'd be pretty okay if they just like start off their turn casting a Ral. It's the impossible. Land, Pyretic Ritual. Can't tell if it's my side that's kind of being laggy or if it's their side. They must be double queued. Another the counter spell would have been really nice right there. want to get these spawn tokens off the battlefield, so I'm okay letting them block here. I want to restrict their mana as much as possible. So they've binned 2 Hex Magics, which makes me wonder if I made the right call about taking the Ral instead of the Hex Magic. We'll see what happens. Now you got to go for something. They're just going to start off with a Hex Magic. Click down. Hex Magic. Set aside a Manamorphose, a Pyretic Ritual, and a Steam Vents. Mello, what's up? What you got? Ral Monsoon Mage. Opponent, I would like to respond. On to game 2. Surgical, great. So I saw Steam Vents and Thundering Falls. What do we think those are for? Looks like Azax just trophied a league with the blue splash for Flusterstorm in the board. That's probably our answer. Flusterstorm. Makes Consigned to Memory a little more interesting. Do I not want? Tef's a little mid. Do I want Mystical Dispute? Like, I know it's not great against Flusterstorm, but just bad Mana Leak has got some text to it. Fine with it over a Kaito. Now, on the bright side, if this is in fact what they've registered, there's no copies of Orum's Chant here. And I like seeing no copies of Orum's Chant on the opponent's side of the board. Plays counter, maybe T3feris is right, maybe one. Well, I don't know. Like, if it's just Flusterstorm, I don't think I care about T3feris, like keeping in T3feris for exactly one card out of their sideboard. If it ends up being more than Flusterstorm, like if they're on Flusterstorm plus Spell Pierce or Mystical Dispute or something, then I would consider bringing the T3feris back in on the play game 3. But I don't really think I want them on the draw game 2 when I'm not sure what the splash is for. That's always the joy of winning game 1. Like, you can be a little more streamlined game 2 and not so much trying to catch all. Especially in an unknown situation. What do we got? That list have pending? Yeah, it had 3 copies of pending. 3 Flusterstorm, 3 pending. Plus, there's some merit to not having to worry about white mana. It to be pretty streamlined. I'm going to go for Thoughtseize. I could hold up Counterspell, but if they do have Flusterstorm, this is kind of like playing into Flusterstorm on their turn 3. Gonna take Valakut Awakening. Wait, I punted this. I should have played Watery Grave untapped, because this can't get a black source. Well, opponent's nice enough to not punish us. Just 2 Graves, and then the Hallowed Fountain, because I'm on the white splash. Bottom U. Good draw. Okay, gonna go to my end step, see if they crack this fetch, which they do. So I respond to the fetch land with Fatal Push the Ral, so they can't respond to my push with Pyretic Ritual and potentially flip it. Should let them surveil first. So this is one of those like minor percentage things. What if they don't surveil? What if they just get a basic mountain and then I lose out on my line? Like, I would rather give them the surveil, or rather let them have the surveil with the information, but Ral is off the board guaranteed, than potentially get blown out by like a suboptimal line that I didn't have to play into. Don't want to burn this on this, but All right, I'm gonna hope that their turn is just casting this glimpse. We've got Pyretic Ritual, Wish. Am I just surgicaling the Rals? I will. Does Riddler ever feel awkward with or without being able to scam it? Not like super awkward. I can just surgical the ruby medallions now. So we pass turn, surgical the rubies on their draw step. Bingo, bango, bongo. If you surgical the rally, can search with Wish. Well, I can't do anything about that, though. Like, yes, he can search for the Ral off the Wish, but I can't stop him from casting Wish. But I can make Wish very, very awkward and inefficient. Now we're both empty-handed, but I've got a Quantum Riddler. What's stronger in your opinion, Kozilek's Command or Riddler? Kozilek's Command. Like, not even close. Riddler's really, really good, and I think Riddler's the kind of card that just gets better and better every year that it's around. But right at this moment, Kozilek's Command. All right, are we getting salt roped? To be fair, opponent called me the king. They said I'm the king, really the king. And I said I definitely got a bit lucky there. So opponent could really use a wish right now. King freak. I was being optimistic. I was thinking like, oh, maybe they're calling me the king of Dimir mid-range. I'll take that. They just need to believe that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars. You believe that rowls in the night sky are like shooting stars? What's better, getting salt roped or waiting 30 minutes in the Pioneer queue? I would rather get salt roped because getting salt roped but doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like, I am a 100% believer that when you show up to play Magic Online, you've got 25 minutes to win 3 games or to win 2 games. I don't care how you use your 25 minutes. I don't care if it's AFK. I don't care if it's interacting or thinking or salt roping or whatever. Does not matter. You are allotted 25 minutes. You can spend them however you feel like spending them. Does not matter to me. Did you add anything? Nope. Blue, black, Esper, Grixis, Soul Tie, blah, blah, blah. So if that's your thing, if you like Psychic Frog decks, you're in the right place. If you don't like Psychic Frog decks, well then hopefully we will teach you to love Psychic Frog decks. Hand's not bad. I would really rather be more proactive on the play. Like have a frog, have a Kaito or something going on. But I think this is reasonable-ish. Eagle fan, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Misty Rainforest. So it could be like Living End, could be, it's a good draw. I just want to jam Frog here. Gets like Spell Snared, that kind of sucks, but if I get to go to their turn, I've got Force Negation up. It's just like blue-white control. Feels like a pending. Spell Snare. Counterspell, pending. Wrath the Skies, Verdict. Okay, so let's just take one of these pendings. Yeah, take a pending, pass turn. Hopefully get to Spell Snare this other pending. play around the spell snare. Yep. All right, this is going to be a huge, huge, huge draw step. Huge draw step. Could be better, could be worse. Here's a frog. Counter spells, spell snare. You have the land for Wrath. Have the land, but it does not cast Wrath the Skies or Supreme Verdict. They get an Orm's Chant. Let's go after the Narset. Card Edict, Subtlety. Feels bad, but I need to get the Narset off the board to be able to draw a card. If they found Solitude, life is unfortunate. Okay. Chant, Wrath the Sky, Supreme Verdict. I just want to start taking chants. Ah! Always T3feris. Why not Edict the Narset? Because I'm trying to draw into a counter spell. And Edicting the Narset does not draw me into a counter spell. Or it doesn't let me hold up a counter spell if I find one. All right, so Supreme Verdict, Wrath the Skies, Orm's Chant. Board is gone. Fine. Here to hand, sure. Kaito. Not a Kaito. Always so glad to get to game 2 and get like Fatal Push out of the deck. You're down. So Orm's Chant, Supreme Verdict, Unknown. I'll just go ahead and Fatal Push the Kite, or Fatal Push the Kahira. Probably not going to get another target for that ever. Okay. Could be worse. Could be better. Quantum Riddlers, Kaitos. Yeah, those things would be pretty sick. Assume they got an answer for this by now? Nope. Second T3feris. Think sniping? I don't think so. They were hanging out in chat before, like way earlier this stream, and they've also come in when we've played before. So I think they're fine. Fatal pushes out of here. Barry would have also been a really good draw. Don't draw anything they don't need to snipe. True. Best way to stop sniping. Don't draw anything worth seeing. Good hand. White sheet when your opponent can just be unlucky. That's my motto. Is answered. All right, am I just jamming this thing? I think I am, and I think I am getting a blue source off of this. Like, I might just get Hallowed Fountain so that if this Harbinger gets answered, I'll have my white mana, and if it doesn't get answered, then I just have a handful of blue stuff. Just have Second Dispute. Never mind. You have double dispute into Teferi. GG's go next. Yep. Land Shieldred's Edict. Yeah. I can do this too.
Our boy who's playing Hearthstone now. Unfortunately, their T3feris are quite a bit better than my T3feris, mainly because they have like more live spells to cast than I do. I'm a lot more reactionary. Well, but better if they do that. Huh. I was not expecting that play. So I could just Otawara their T3feri. I guess I don't want to do that until they put something on the stack that I care about. Right. That was a turn of events. That was ballsy. I feel like I was not in a good position before that. Okay, so they just fetch shocked, didn't do anything. Well, they can't leyline binding because I have a T3feri out. Like, no consult the star charts or anything does anything. I really thought that this was discounted for T3feri. I didn't need to fetch and shock there. I thought that Otawara was discounted from T3feri, and I could play a Bowmasters after. My bad. That's on me. They might have an Otawara. Would make sense. Gone thought. Be gone thought number 2. Electric Boogaloo. Maybe like they had an Otawara and they thought that, or they were planning on Otawaraing like on my instep, but then I Otawara their T3feri and they didn't want to Otawara back. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here. Or they thought that they could consult the star charts and just didn't think about T3feri. So this is 5 damage. They put T3feri on top. This is 5. If I flash in Bowmaster and shoot them, it's 7. So I could go like Bowmaster, hit you for 7, bounce my Bowmaster. I guess bouncing subtlety is fine too.
All right. Could just resolve a Kaito. Kaito pretty good into all things blue-white. Okay. I have to be really, really on my toes with Teferi. And I think I don't want the Harbinger in. I don't really have anything to play over the Harbinger. I really don't want Surgical. But at the same time, if I think Teferi Time Reveler is the only card I lose to out of them, then it might be worth having Surgical just for Teferi. I don't think that it is, but I've got to board something in, and I'm thinking it's better than Harbinger. So I'm not boarding in Surgical because I think it's good. I think I'm boarding in Surgical because I think it's better than Harbinger. We were like 100% dead, and then we weren't. I mean, when your opponent gives you 7 new cards, you say thank you. You say, thank you, opponent. May I have another? Naughty, naughty blue-white control player. Naughty, naughty. We've got Prismatic Ending, Orm's Chant, Basic Planes, Unknown. Now Kahira. I would like a land, please. Oh, this is how we lose. They just go like Orm's Chant plus Teferi. I guess I got double force into the world. Mm. Oh, I guess we'll just Bowmaster. Oof, indeed. I feel like we can make some stuff happen if I can find a third land. We'll dispute plus another chant. Opponent keeps on top. Well, it's not really okay because they have a Hall of Storm Giants. So if they keep hitting lands, they're going to be able to start activating that. And it's going to turn these Quantum Riddlers into, like, just chump blockers. I need to get ahead of the haul. And if this is like a Narset, then the game's like over. Not a Narset. All right, step 1. Find land. Step 2, need to find more land. Okay. Give me another land here. Okay. So we're going to sink into stupor T3feris, or at least attempt to. Have a counterspell. Go to my turn. Start casting Quantum Riddlers. Fair point. Bruh. Oh, man. I trash talk blue-white control all the time. And part of it is because I legitimately think, like, this is what needs to happen for you to win with blue-white control. Is just, like, opponent stumbles horribly. You make it through part of the game and then just, like, start ripping in the late game. Like, you just need a lot. Not impossible, but it takes some work. In phase solitude. Yeah, because now I'm going to run into the issue of they can just, like, T3feris bounce their own solitude. Tasker lets me double spell next turn. I'd rather just not play Magic than play against bullshit decks like this. I mean, I don't think their deck is bullshit. I just think that T3feris is not healthy gameplay. Like, I don't think this is a card that long-term needs to be in Magic. But that's just my 2 cents there. Very static text should really have been the static text on Voice of Victory. I think it should have just been swap T3feris static text and T3feris +1. I think the +1 should have been your opponent can't cast things at instant speed, and the static should have been you can cast sorceries at instant speed. Like, T3feris should come down, and then you go to tick up, and the activation goes on the stack, and your opponent has a chance to kill T3feris in response to that. All right. I think we can scoop here. No! I think we play against Tron in the last round of the Swiss. Devourer of Destiny, I think, is a broken card. Uggin's Labyrinth is a broken card. See the pattern here? Damn, can't trust AI to tie my shoes now. Yeah, they AI overview. The next scheduled MTG ban and restricted announcement is officially taking place on June 30th, 2026. Oh, wait. This date was finalized after Wizards of the Coast shifted the window from the originally published typo-laden June 3rd or 29th dates. So maybe it is the 30th. I don't know. I'm just going to nod and agree. After MH3 dropped and Eldrazi Tron started really picking up steam, I was fairly convinced that Devourer of Destiny would be pretty high up on the ban suggested ban list. My thought was like Eldrazi Tron with Devourer of Destiny is like an enabler for these Uggin's lab starts and stuff is really, really rough. So mono blue Eldrazi. We've got our opponent on a 2-turn clock. Maybe we can find a counter spell or a... really need another land. I need to make this a 2-turn clock. They're going to Kozilek's command. Brother. Odawara. Why you do this to me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, ironically, I will say Odawara is the kind of card that I think has a pretty cool design. Fairly expensive cost for an unsummon to get around like counter spells and stuff. That's interesting. One, two, three, four, five, six. I really need to find a Thoughtseize here. Sorry, what I meant to say is I need to find more counter spells. Kozilek's command. Can't remember if they still had a land or not. We have force negation. All right, do you have the land for Ugin? I can't remember if that third island was in their hand or not. Oh, wait, I knew about second Ugin's lab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. All right. All right, you did the thing. Mono Blue Tron. How do we feel about Mono Blue Tron on the toxicity ratings? Is that one up there or is that one acceptable? Wildly annoying. Does Mono Blue Tron typically run any like Mind Stones or Mana Rocks or stuff? Looks like maybe a couple, but not a huge amount. I think I'm going to go Surgical over Spell Snare. Most of the lists I'm looking at are on like 2 or 3 Talisman is their only 2 drops, where a lot of like the traditional Eldrazi Tron decks are on like 4 Mind Stone. Mind Stone Chalice could potentially be hit. Some on some number of talismans. So I think having access to Spell Snare is a lot more important against them because you're trying to lock them out of like casting spells entirely, where the blue variants are going to have a lot more just control-ish draws. All right, what do you think? Are we going to get dismembered? Their dismember is nice. That let's have the blue sorcery from Bloomborough. Portent of Calamity. I have no idea. I haven't seen it, but I could not tell you with any great degree of certainty if they do or not. I'd like you to not be able to stock up. All right. Who's ready? Who's ready to speed up the clock? If you said me, you're correct. Let's go, baby. Game time. Never mind. No Moss game time. Game time has left the building. Force negation off a spell pierce on that. Volcanius, what's up? And a stock up. All right. Felt like a greedy consign. Did it? I had like backup consign plus force of negation. Didn't feel that greedy to me. What do I know? Like those cards. I really don't want my opponent getting Tron online this late in the game. Another stock up. Important for 2. Sure. Surgical extraction, you say? Do enjoy me some extractions of the surgical variety. All right, so they revealed Portent of Calamity and Eye of Storms. So I could surgical the Portent of Calamities. That seems reasonable. Draw. They've got double Ugin in hand, Force of Negation, Subtlety. It is indeed a very weird card. I don't really care about another frog. We'll attack first. Draw off of my frog. Good. Cast Thoughtseize. See what's up. I mean, we know their hand, but like make them commit to this this subtlety. Or force. Okay. Now I've got decisions to make. I could subtlety their subtlety, which is probably just like a hard counter because they don't want to draw subtlety again. I could let this go, Thoughtseize and Ugin, play Quantum Riddler, and have consign the Ugin cast trigger plus force and negation the Ugin itself. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that wouldn't work because if they find the Tron land, they can have force and negation up. All right, I think I just let this go. Take one of the Ugins. Say go. Have 6 mana available. We'll flash in this other subtlety. Sure. And now I believe if I discard if I attack in, discard force of negation, then I can replicate consign enough times to play around their force of negation while still having like subtlety for anything else to present lethal. So even if they hit a land here, if they hit the 3rd Tron land, I can consign, replicate 2 times on both triggers, the cast trigger and the Ugin. That plays around force negation while having lethal on board. And I can flash in subtlety if they don't do anything and have enough mana to like consign, replicate a Kozilek's command and pay for force negation and ignore force negation. I think I want Stony Silence. Run it back. First surgical extraction. Edict. Now mystical disputes look better. Oh, they didn't look like bad on the play, right? And they're fine. That's a pretty good draw. Don't have natural Tron. You do have a Kozilek's command that I'm definitely taking. And some expensive stuff. They could have natural Tron though, because they left a card on top with the Devourer of Destiny. So it very well could be third Tron land. I think that means I want to play land go here and not cast this Harbinger, or not cast Frog. Like if they just go third Tron land Devourer, exile my Frog, that would suck. And if they don't do anything, I can Bowmasters. What do I think about this? Fine. I don't love it, but untapped black source, untapped black source, untapped black source. All right, show me what you got. Come on, second mind pass, second mind pass, second mind pass. Nice. Hell yeah. Get rid of T3feris. I think I'm getting rid of second Frog too, because I'm not playing that anytime soon. Theodora. All right, go. All right. I can play Tassiger. Still hold up Consign. And look, it's one of those funny moments where Tassiger's better than Murktide. All right, I'm countering this. I'm countering this because it gives them double colorless mana through Harbinger of the Seas. And contrary to popular belief, I don't want my opponent to have double colorless mana. Let it resolve. Horton and die. Jeez. GG's. All right, so we started that round 31st, which means we'll end up probably somewhere around like 22nd-ish. 5-2. Not terrible at all. So what were our matchups against? First off, going 5-2 day one. And 5, I guess you'd have 2 more rounds. 5-2 is probably going to make you day 2 at an RC. Need to do a little bit better, but it is what it is. So we lost to Prowess. We beat Boros Energy. We lost to Blue-White Control. We beat Grixis Reanimator. We beat Ruby Storm. We beat Mono Blue Tron. And what was the last one? Can't remember for the life of me what the last one was. Beat Boros. Lost to Prowess. Beat Mono Blue Eldrazi. Beat Grixis Reanimator. Beat Storm. Lost to Blue-White Control. There's one more in there. I counted Tron and Storm. Man, how can I not remember this? Boros, we won. Prowess, we lost. Mono Blue Tron, we won. Grixis Reanimator, we won. Ruby Storm, we won. Blue-White Control, we lost. Then one more. But either way, deck felt reasonable. T3feris probably is still better as just the 4th Thoughtseize and like 2nd Tassiger. It was okay, but I think I would only want it if I thought I was going to see a lot more blink. It's not good into Boros. It's not good into Affinity. It's not good into Prowess, which are like 3 of the most popular matchups in the format. So I think I would drop it for like 4th Thoughtseize, maybe 4th Subtlety, maybe 2nd Tassiger. Sideboard. Move these over. Surgical Extraction was pretty good. Pest Control was good. Consign was good. Dispute was fine. Harbinger was fine. Stony Silence is obviously only there for Affinity, and we didn't see Affinity, so it's hard to judge that one. Am I sometimes playing Esper Gorios? I have before, and I'll mix it in every now and then, but I would not say that I play it too terribly often. Man, what was that third or that last matchup? Wasn't hollow one or anything. Did I play versus Gorios? No, I played against Grixis Reanimator, but I didn't play against Gorios. This is really driving me crazy. Wasn't Zoo.